Hello, my name is Wei and with me is Geoffrey. Today, we will be discussing how fiction tells the truth about human rights through the books Persepolis and the Orphan Master's Son.
Darkness, whether found in the black of night or the black of a veil, permeates certain cultures today. In this darkness, through the lens of fiction, we are able to see the issues of human rights. Imagine living in a culture where people don't matter, only the stories about them. Also imagine a culture where simple commodities like makeup and fancy dress are suppressed by everyone around you. These are the cultures we will be discussing today, found in the Orphan Master's Son and Persepolis.
First, we'll talk about the book Persepolis. The main character, Margine, is a woman that is in between two cultures, the Western one and the traditional one of her home. Her difficulty in adapting to Europe reveals how un-Western she truly was. The picture on the slide depicts a time when she is planning to return home and has to wear the veil. This veil represents the social oppression of her home country, and it opposes the social freedom of Austria.
When she returned home, her parents said the war felt like hell. Even in the war, the government oppressed its citizens and massacred tens of thousands of political prisoners. Margie's friends, though dressed like Western women, were in fact proponents of the traditional culture because that is the way they had been raised. Modern Islamic women like Margie struggle to combine faithfulness with new opportunities for success in the increasing westernizing culture. In the end, Margie leaves Iran because she realizes she couldn't be content in the oppressive culture of Iran.
Next, we'll discuss the Orphan Master's Son. The main character, John Doe, is a boy living in North Korea under the Kim dictatorships. John Doe, growing up, had no chance to choose his future. As an orphan, he was put into the army, then moved into the abduction team, where he helped abduct Japanese citizens from beaches. After becoming a national hero, he traveled to North America, where he first experienced Western culture. On his return, he was deeply interrogated and then sent away with a blood collection team. After witnessing the horrors that countless citizens endured from the government, he was placed in a mining camp where he was never heard from again.
After killing the Minister of Mines, Pak Jun-do assumed the identity of Commander Ga. He experienced the elite culture of North Korea and even interacted with the dear leader on several occasions. He begins to realize that he despises his own culture, however, and plans for his new family to escape. His family escapes to America, but he didn't get the opportunity to join them. He is left behind and forced into prison, where he is tortured for the information about his family. In North Korea, when someone defects, their family is either placed in a prison camp or killed. There are no justice or trials. Human rights violations, whether in Iran or North Korea, are seen through a more personal view thanks to the fictional stories we have talked about. These stories are more powerful because they depict the struggles of one person in a culture rather than the struggles of the whole society. When human rights violations are explained with a large society suffering, we don't really understand the struggles of the average person. In these stories, we can see both the individual struggles of two citizens and view the whole society. A fictional story is probably the best way to depict human rights issues like starvation, cruel punishment, and the abduction of outsiders and citizens alike in North Korea.
Stories, facts, and people rarely get to escape the confines of the oppressive culture of North Korea. When they do, it's difficult to confirm the information claimed in the stories. A story like Persepolis shows the hidden culture of people living in Iran. Citizens are only allowed to act a certain way in public and not share their personal lives with others. In the story, we're allowed an inside view of how people actually act in comparison to their traditional upbringings. Women in Iranian culture are viewed primarily as mothers, and their place was to be in the home. I used to live in Beijing, so I can relate part of my life to Margine and John Doe. When I first moved to America, I had trouble adjusting to the new lifestyle like Margine did when she moved to Austria. I was forced to move from my house in China because the government needed the land to build shopping centers. The loudspeaker in Orphan Master's Son reminds me of the state news that airs at the exact same time on all Chinese local television channels. I was better off than Ma Jing and Zhang Dou, however, I did not have true freedom.
Today, we have seen the human rights struggles of many people depicted in these stories. We believe that these issues need to be resolved. We are all human beings and thus should be guaranteed basic rights by our governments and other people. It is not okay for people to be forced to do work, marry, or be taken from their families like in North Korea. In an article, the author states that it is essential that we rally as many allies as possible to this cause. We shouldn't be having disputes with these countries. We should instead be focused on helping them change and stop violating basic human rights. This is our presentation, and thank you for listening today.